Welcome to RAAONLINE. I am Dr. Sukanya. I am a general physician. So now we will discuss approach to anemia. Anemia, as we know, it's a very common problem, day-to-day practice we see day in and day out. And how do you define anemia? So anemia is reduction in the hemoglobin or the hematocrit, okay, or the RBC count. So either of the three, it can be defined by reduction in either the hemoglobin, hematocrit or the RBC count, but we preferably take hemoglobin, okay. So typically reduction of hemoglobin. So how much reduced is what you define as anemia. So for that you have the WHO criteria for anemia. So just remember these numbers 11, 12 and 13. So hemoglobin less than 11 in case of pregnancy, less than 12 in case of women and less than 13 in case of adult men is what we define as anemia. So this is the WHO criteria for anemia. Hemoglobin of less than 11 in pregnant women, less than 12 in normal adult female and less than 13 in normal adult male defined as anemia. Before entering into the anemia approach proper, I think we have to discuss about the basic RBC indices, which we have been learning from our first year MBBS. So the basic RBC indices we'll just go through in short and then we'll go into the anemia approach proper. Now what do you understand by MCV? Mean corpuscular volume. So this defines the average volume of the cell or average size of the red blood cell. So average size of the red blood cell and it is expressed as femtoliters. Okay, and the normal value is 80 to 100 femtoliters. So if you have a RBC of less than 80, then it is microcytic. And if the RBC size is more than 100 femtoliters, if the MCV is more than 100, then we call this as macrocytic. Okay, so this is the importance of MCV. So MCV is defined as the average volume or average size of an RBC and the normal value is 80 to 100 femtoliters. So all these are given by automated cell counters. And remember, MCV is a measured value in automated cell counter. Now next coming to MCH. MCH is mean corpuscular hemoglobin, which means the average amount of hemoglobin per red blood cell. So one single red blood cell, how much of hemoglobin does it contain? That is MCH. And the normal value for MCH is 29 plus or minus 2 picogram per cell. So this is the normal value for MCH. So any cell with less than 29 picogram, we call those cells as hypochromic. Okay. And what is MCHC? Mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration. This is similar to MCH, but remember how do you approach or how do you get MCH? Just imagine you are centrifuging blood. You are separating the red cells. In that, 1 deciliter of red cell you are taking and you are measuring how much hemoglobin it contains. That gives the value for MCHC. It is not 1 deciliter of blood. It is 1 deciliter of the RBC. So, MCHC is defined as amount of hemoglobin per unit volume and it is expressed as gram per deciliter of RBC and the normal values are 34 plus or minus 2 gram per deciliter. Again, if MCHC is low, similar to MCH, the cells are hypochromic in nature. That's what we understand from MCV, MCH and MCHC. Now, what is this red cell distribution width, RDW? So, RDW is a measure of anisocytosis. Okay. So, it is a measure of variation in the RBC size which indicates the degree of anisocytosis. So, this is calculated as coefficient of variation of red blood cell volume and is expressed as percentage. Okay. So, somebody who is having a high or elevated red cell distribution width means that in the peripheral smear, you are going to see lot of cells with variable sizes. That is, there is anisocytosis. That's what it indicates. And the normal value for red cell distribution width is 13 plus or minus 1.5. So, the upper limit of normal is 14.5%. So, any value above 14.5% we consider as elevated red cell distribution width. So, where do you see this high RDW? It is seen in iron deficiency anemia, B12 deficiency, folic acid deficiency, myelodysplastic syndrome, hemoglobinopathies, and even patients who have received transfusions. So, these are patients who are going to have high red cell distribution width. Just understand red cell distribution width, if it is high, it indicates anisocytosis. That's what we have to understand. And now about reticulocyte. This is very important to understand. We'll spend some time over here. So, what is the reticulocyte? The reticulocyte is a stage of RBC development directly before the mature RBC. So, next step of reticulocyte is a mature RBC in the peripheral blood. And these reticulocytes are being produced and they replace the normal RBCs or the senescent RBCs which are being cleared from the circulation every day. So, approximately some 1% of RBCs are cleared every day. So, the reticulocyte count is around 0.5 to 1 to 1.5%. That is what is the reticulocyte count. So, in a steady state, approximately 1 to 2% of circulating RBCs are reticulocytes, which corresponds to an absolute reticulocyte count of 25 to 100,000 per microliters. Okay. So, this is the normal reticulocyte percentage is 1 to 2% and the absolute reticulocyte count normally is around 25,000 to 100,000.